Good morning, everyone. Or maybe I shouldn't be so loud. It's kind of, some of you, it might be early, might be late. It's so great to see everyone. Let me first, we have 4 today. So hello to Marsha, Wendy, and Sari. We wish you a great week, a great Monday. And today we have Dawn and Angie and Jen. So we're really happy to be here with you guys. Hi, Cher and Ed and Michelle. Everybody's coming in. Peggy, good morning. So, how is everybody? The astrology is something else. We're going to talk about that. I would like to again remind you that Dawn will be having on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, here on the Spiritual View, the Leo full moon release. So come join us. We'll all try to be here, and it'll be lovely as always. She's amazing. So do put a heart in the chat if you'd like a card pull. We're going to do a collective about how can we connect to our own special path today. This full moon in Leo, we're going to work on some confidence and love for ourselves so that we can put that out there. And we also are going to have Angie do a little grounding. So let's start with that. Good morning, Jennifer, Michelle, Rebecca, Misty. Hi, everybody. Jonna. Good morning. Welcome, Misty. Okay. Hi, Rebecca. All right. Now, let's everybody take a deep breath. I'm going to mute myself and let Angie get us in a good space. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And thank you guys for remembering to put your numbers. You must have got, we used to call it ESPN at home instead of ESP. So you got my ESPN message of putting your number in with your heart. So that was a lot easier for us on Friday when we did so. So because the full moon in Leo is coming up on Wednesday, we're going to work through a few lion's breaths in our grounding today. And that is where we inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And if you can do so with heat, okay, as much heat as you can generate. And also, if you can visualize, if you're old enough to remember when the TV shows went off at midnight and it was the of the screens, right? And after Fritz the Night Owl was over. That is kind of what we're doing with the meridians, like clearing any of that static out of our energy body, clearing it out of the meridians that are in a stacked along our spine, like our chakras. So if we can inhale any color that comes to your mind, exhale that static, that's going to help a lot more. So just kind of picture that static in your mind if you know what that looks like. I like to place my feet on the ground. So let's everybody take a nice deep breath in. If you've got your stones, Dawn encouraged us to pick a stone that we were going to remind ourselves of from the new moon energy. So let's go ahead and breathe in through the nose and a big push out. And again, squeeze it all out. And let's add some heat for these last couple. Like a lion roaring, last one. Lots of heat. All the way down the spine to the base root, right into your own fire, your own roots of connectedness, your own being. And how have we possibly veered off of that path? And what little fun, fantastical journeys we found along the way, even if they were a little scary, even if they meant encountering a lion or a dragon, and maybe even seeing on our pathway as we're walking this forest. We see the snake skins that have shed denoting the end of a cycle and moving forward in a new skin, having learned these lessons and understood the reason we felt fear and the reason when we face them again, how to not be fearful. Let's breathe in from those roots up into our lower belly, just underneath our belly button, seeing the color orange, moving from red to orange. And this is where our creativity lies. And that can be overshadowed by our fears, our false ego, or false evidence that appears real. That comes out as fear. And we can tamp that down with our own creative light. On the next breath in, let's expand our belly toward our laps, like a big ray of sunshine. And as we exhale, squeezing around the spine, absorbing the nutrients of the sun, the vitamin D to revitalize our bodies. And on the next breath, opening up the heart chakra, lifting the chest just a little bit more, letting the rib cage extend upward to relax our shoulders down our back, feeling our heart expand with our breath. And if there's any static or you're feeling any blocks there, feel free to give that heated lion's breath. Exhale. And on the next inhale, releasing the jaw, dropping the tongue from the roof of our mouth. And inhaling up into that third eye, seeing the color purple. And if you need an energy reset today, I invite you to place your palms in prayer and your thumbs in the center of your forehead, breathing in purple light from your fingertips and channeling that right through to your own subconscious. Breathing in, forming a heart with your fingertips. And placing those fingertips on your forehead, exhaling, opening up that third eye, tucking those imaginary curtains behind your ears, bringing our palms back to prayer, inhaling white light up and out of the crown, exhaling as wide as your arms can reach, pausing at the shoulders, extending that heart energy outwards. Breathing in as above and exhaling, finishing your own energetic sphere of light so below. Bringing our palms back into prayer. And as you're breathing in and out through the nose, just visualizing the first number that you see, the first color that floats into your mind's eye, and the first animal. Those are all going to be messages from your own subconscious today, coming into your conscious thought to bring you a message and an area that you can creatively dive into and look for the messages within. The light in me welcomes and honors the light in all of you, and namaste.
Hold on, Don. You guys, I want to apologize if you saw me wiggling and stuff. My dog was out there crying the whole time. She's in here now. Everything's better.
Oh,
Yeah, I was trying to concentrate. Thank you. Thank you, Angie.
no worries.
Hello.
Okay, and I'm coming back over to Dawn, I believe, to get us started on our astrology convo. There's so many interesting things happening. So
So I know that we have this full moon coming up, but we are playing into a lot of energy right now. We had just this weekend, we had the Mercury Cazimi. Mercury met the sun, then then is now going to be past it and involved in this this full moon that is square Uranus. So, and we're getting all that energy going on now, and the sun actually will have an exact square to Uranus like the day before. I believe. I can double check that. But the point is that we're in this serious energy right now. And it's in all of that is in the fixed signs: Aquarius, Leo, Sun and Moon, right? And Uranus, which is Taurus, which is why you see different things with the stock market and money and all of these different earthquakes that have been going on all over the place. We are also dealing with the very last days of Mars being retrograde. It's lasting through the 24th of February, and it's going to be moving 1 degree during this time. It's going to move from 18 down to 17. And the thing with that is that when it's going to station, so it's like anytime something is that it's a planet stations to go direct or retrograde, you get extra oomph into that energy. And I'm sure everybody has been feeling that. So just as that is going to be going direct, which will release a lot of that energy in Cancer, that it's been emotional. It's been, I think also we're going to get that illumination of things in our lives that, triggers from childhood, all of that energy. It's a really good time this next 2 weeks, because it's 2 weeks away, for us to be able to clean out what is no longer needed in our homes and get rid of that energy. If you have things that you don't need anymore, or that don't have any significant meaning for you, it's a time to pass those on to somebody who does need them. Whether you sell them, whether you give them away, or whether they're broken. I think when I know of a family that when they went to clean out their parents' home, they had like 6 broken coffee pots underneath in the cupboard because somebody was always going to fix them. 6.
Right. I'll get to that project.
Yeah. So there's that.
Guilty.
There is that. Yeah. So I would say, take a look at this. Is sat here for 2 years and I haven't fixed it yet. Maybe it's time for it to go. Right. So that's what I would say. That's what I would say about that. Oh, I like that. Rebecca Jo, I use a rose quartz heart, manifesting love and joy. True. So I think what we can talk about is on this Leo full moon is releasing some of the things that ego may be blocking for us to be open to our gifts. Trust me, ego is still important. Ego is not a bad word, but it is something that sometimes you don't believe you can. That's also part of ego. You don't believe that you can. And yes, you can. So I think that is something that you should look at as well. And open to your creativity. Whatever it is that's creative outlet for you, whether it is painting, writing, cooking, baking, anything that you feel that playing music, creative outlet of dancing. To me, if I want to elevate my mood, I just turn on some tunes and dance. And I go back to, because I'm a Zumba Gold instructor, the first song I always play for whatever group I'm teaching is one that's very, very familiar. And we just have a great time. It's just like, everybody knows that song. So they are very, just like immediately they get out of their heads that, I don't know how to do this. They get out of their heads immediately and have a good time. And that's what you need. You need to get out of your head playing an instrument. That in itself is an act of connecting to a higher self and pulling that in. And when it allows you to be in the moment, all of those things allow you to be in the moment and grounding that back into that energy. So with Uranus being in that square, it's very powerful. Mercury is the lower octave of Uranus. And Uranus also brings galactic energy in. So it's and it's direct now, thank God. It's direct now. So I think that's what we can utilize, that energy of connection and from a higher level. But to do that, I think sometimes we just need to get into our own space and live in the moment of now, because that will connect you. Eckhart Tolle, I love his The Power of Now book. You have to read it only a couple pages at a time because it's very intense. So I usually went 3 or 4 pages and I'm like, okay, let this soak in. But being in those are very simple ways: candle gazing, looking at a fire, just being, sometimes just doing the dishes with no music, no anything in the background, and just being in that moment. Anything that connects you into the now. And that's a very powerful thing. So I would say we need to finish up this energy of Mars retrograde. We do have Venus that's going to be going retrograde March 1st. What I will say is that's going to be a beautiful journey for Divine Feminine, and it'll be very, very empowering, but it's going to be deep. There'll be a lot of work. There's very amazing energy that'll be coming through, because Mercury and the thought process, how we think, Mercury and Venus are going to be crossing the North Node and Saturn and Neptune, and they're covering the same degrees during a Venus retrograde. Mercury and Venus are retrograding together over the same degrees, almost exactly, right? Mercury is going from 9, will go from 9 back to 26, and Venus will go from 10 back to 24. So that is pretty intense energy when you consider that includes the North Node, that includes Neptune, that includes Saturn's moving up into that energy. So very intense. And who ever heard of having those kind of retrogrades, Venus over the North Node? What is fated for us, Divine Feminine? So think about those things, because those things are going to be coming up in March, and we'll dig into those a little bit more. So I think now we will be ready to pull.
Well, I think Angie was going to share. Yeah.
Oh, Angie, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. As you're saying that, it's so intense, you guys. You got to remember that in each of the 12 pie pieces in the sky, right? They're 30 degrees each. And when we have so many energy bodies sitting in that third chunk of, that 20 to 29 degrees, 59 minutes, that's the end of lessons. That's the end of that planetary bodies, or that, the star, or whatever, the asteroid, whatever it is. It's the end of that lesson. So it's going to feel intense, especially when we have so many of them that are sitting in that last decan. So it's there for a reason. It's there to highlight. It's there for us. And know, again, we're all here together to be reminding each other that this is the energy happening outside of us. We still have the control of our own energetic fishbowl as far as we can extend. It's just physics. It's just how we are tempering our own fishbowl, right? And then the people that come into it that are, that are in fear, and that are, passive aggressive, or they're road raging, whatever that is, they're feeling the energy and not recognizing that they're letting it affect their emotions. When we are constantly aware of our own fishbowl of energy, we're like, that ain't taking, this was hard work to get my energy vibe up to that place. And you feel a difference even when someone puts one drop and tries to alchemize in your fishbowl that you spent so much hard work on to get clear. And it's just becomes easier to be like, you know what? It's not worth it for me to then have to re-clean my fish water. So forgive the metaphor, but it's an easy one, right? It's just not worth it. We no longer feel the need to correct people. We no longer feel the need to be like, but here's why you're not seeing this correctly. It's not worth it, because they're going to see what they want to see based on their own fishbowl. You cannot change that for them. and nor should we, because that is karmic consequences for us. That is not our journey. It's not our business. You can lead that horse to water. You can't force them to drink, and nor should you, because that is their journey. And I know that's a hard thing to swallow, especially when we're so desperate for people to be like, if they would just, how many people have thought that, right? Fill in the blank. If they would just do this, I would be okay. And we can't do that. We come to the point in our lives where we realize, why am I trying to change somebody else so I feel okay, when I'm the one that has to suffer the consequences of whatever their fishbowl of energy is? I got to mix with that, and not being willing to do that any longer when we're surfing above the energy. So today, with all what Don was saying, again, the last set, those are very, very intense. We do have a special path today of connection. We won't have this special 3-day until March. On my notes today, on my community post, I put the dates of the last 3 days we've had these special 3 days. They don't come every month. They don't, they only happen less times in a year, obviously, than a regular 3-day. So that is the world energy. Today's date adds up to a 21. And I wrote, roll the dice, redo, reset, especially because today's the 10th. It's the Wheel of Fortune energy, the Magician energy. We've got a lot of swords coming up, a lot of truths revealed. That Kazemi is like a giant Aquarian sword of truth, right? And then with that trine yesterday, that beautiful water trine, even though Mars is in retrograde, it was kind of like a get her done. I wrote get her done energy. And that is not normally how it feels when the emotions are so high. It was kind of like an energy of resolve, like, okay, I got to solve this once and forever. And thank you for reminding us of the creativity aspect. And I didn't even realize it Friday, but Thursday night for my date night on my channel, I started a subscriber art spotlight. And so every week I'm going to be featuring you guys' art on that page. And it's something when you sharing your joy with the rest of us, when you're in your joy, there's something so powerful about that. It brought me joy to feature that. It brought me joy to be like, oh my gosh, how long did this take? Or how did they catch that moment so beautifully? It really does help with our heart healing. And it really does tamp down that fear aspect of that sacral chakra, so that we can use that creative flow. And like when Jen does the QHHT, that's the theta state, right? That you're not thinking, you're being, and you're feeling, and you're flowing. And that's what anything creative does. My grandma used to iron. That was her like time away from her brain and ironing out all the kinks. I don't know why that came up, but when you were talking about that, Dawn, just anything, cooking, but whatever it is, you got to get out of your thinking brain and just into your feels and into the beingness of it all. So that's thank you for letting me say that. And I forgot to say that on Friday, but thank you guys. If you have any artworks you'd like to send me, I will take it and I will feature it every Thursday.
Okay, real quick.
And then we are, yep.
Every time you talk about the wise feminine, I've showed you this before, it comes out, this melanite. It's the wise feminine. It's just every time. So I had to tell you that. Dawn is going to answer Ed's question. No knives. No, but she'll explain this better.
Yeah, Ed. So I believe, if I remember correctly, I haven't seen your chart for quite a while, but isn't that Mercury Venus in Aquarius? And I would definitely say stay away from the knives. Actually, I have been, because I have Mars in my first house natally, and I have been staying away from sharp objects. I've been double checking, because burns, cuts, those are all Mars things, rashes, all that stuff is Mars stuff. So yes, I would say Be careful when you put the kettle on and taking it off, those kind of things. We're more prone to having those kind of incidents. The other thing I saw that I think is, because it was Natisha, she talked about she had done it last year, a drawing of an empress, and then she put faded and a question mark. And this is the Venus retrograde for you, is what I will say. Because very much when Venus goes through her retrograde, it's like that story of Persephone, where she is taken down into, her own dark night of the soul in Hades. And the last one that happened in Leo, all of the asteroid goddesses showed up to help her get out. And it was like the moon was there. It was crazy. The moon was there, but Hecate was there. And they all helped each other out of it. And one of the things that the group that I was working with, they all, by the time it got done, and it was in Leo, so it was like they were putting their crowns back on. They came out and claimed their crown afterwards. So to me, that when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that is so exactly what it is. Because a lot of times, a lot of what we're getting now, because it's Pisces that she's going to be working through, and the North Node, what are your fated gifts that are going to be showing up? What are you going to have command over? Receive those in. That's the Empress energy, receiving. So, yeah, Judy, tried to cut my fingers with the kitchen shears. Well, yeah, yep. Yeah, I've had a lot of that. So to help with all this energy, we are going through a very, very, very unique, special time. So we need to work on ourselves first, and then we can deal with what's going out in the collective, is how I would say it. And then we're going to hit the ground running, because Venus is in retrograde for 40 days. So I would say just be aware of your environment out there and take less risks if possible, drive slower, all of those things, because we will eventually have another Mars-Pluto opposition. That'll be in April. Anything else? Or are we ready to move on? Oh, go ahead, Elizabeth. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just ready to jump in and do the
I see.
collective. But I will say that when this Mars comes around, I have Mars in Cancer. So it's like a Mars return for me. And we don't have enough time to talk about how much I've hurt myself. There's just not enough time. But it's been a thing. It's a thing. All right. So we want to spend some time with you guys. And we're going to start first, though, with reflecting on how we can connect to our own special path at this time, rebuild your confidence, work with this full moon energy. Again, do join us and Dawn Wednesday at 8 p.m. I think that'll be amazing help. Very creative idea and a cool thing to do. So what I actually, I was playing with my Lunar Nomad Oracle, and one card came out, but I was just drawn to try again. And this is so interesting. It's the Rider. It's that magician energy that Angie mentioned. It's the Alchemist. But also for you all, I want you to know there are news and messages and opportunities coming in that are unexpected. But at the same time, let me read a little bit too, if you don't mind. It says, where is it? That she'll evoke a time of new beginnings and deep exploration of creative desires and musings. Her nomadic spirit is always in the process of carrying something into life from the liquid substance of the creative unknown into the tangible form of reality. I just love that alchemy and creative energy there. And then whatever message the writer has traveled to give you, be ready for change and hold on to the promise that your perspective will shift. And that is sinking into a lot of love for yourself, operating from a place of love as you get these opportunities and changes. And it's an opportunity for you to journey, to find out what really lights up your soul, what is your path. And you might find yourself in the process of discovering something new. I just love this card, a project, a message, a service. And it's really about discovering, carrying forward information and insight. So this is so much about that full moon, so much about the Mercury Uranus. And I think too, it says, ask yourself, what am I delivering in my life right now? So it's kind of a question with a question. But only you know what new beginnings you need, what new perspective you need. And I know we're going through a lot of stuff personally and collectively. And I just encourage you all to lead from a place of love. And that has to start with yourself first, a good sense of ego and confidence. And then you can give out. But yeah, so there now, Miss Jen is going to offer up her insights on this. No, Dawn, I'm sorry.
Hello.
Love you, girl.
So when I was shuffling the deck, and I chose the Cosmic Journey Oracle, because you guys all know that I think this is very Aquarian, and the sun is in Aquarius right now, and as part of this energy. And the card that just jumped out was a number 40 card. Your great wave awaits. A wave starts slowly. You can see its energy as it begins to slightly swell on the horizon. At first, there's nothing more than a small inflation of water, barely different than the surrounding water. But you can see it. The swell gains amplitude and height, and now you have a wave that you can unsuccessfully struggle against or ride with joyful bliss. The choice is yours. Your great wave awaits, ready for you to proclaim your next greatest purpose. No doubt you may be scared at how big this energy is, or fearful of the scope of actions necessary to accomplish it. Be like water. Flow through any thought holding you back from this full resolution. Your momentum has gathered to surf the cosmic wave of destiny. That is so much about this Mars energy, and it's not really knowing exactly what your gift is quite yet, but knowing that something is opening up within you, and that you have your own divine destiny to meet. And that's what a lot of this is. It's like the astrology is lining up in such a way that it is causing us to have very deep personal awakenings and lessons. Mars goes into retrograde about every 2.5 years, and Venus does it like every 18 months. So the fact that they're doing this Mars first, then Venus, but they're still talking to each other. They actually, Mars and Venus trine 3 times during all of this. The first time Mars was retrograde, the second time Venus will be retrograde, and the third time they'll both be direct in Aries. So we are getting an amazing amount of information and energy and things to work through. It is not easy right now. I will be the first one to say it. The astrology is like, oh my God, now what do I have to learn? Now what is going on? But it's there. It's saying, things are starting to come out. You will see things. You will recognize things about yourself and come out so much stronger on the other end of this. So with that, I will pass this on to Jen.
Okay, so first I'm going to say I got an angel number for today of 1155, and I think it just goes with that full moon in Leo. It's about embracing change, trusting your intuition, and pursuing your passion. So I mean, it was just like spot on with just the energy that we have going. But our question was, how can we connect to our own special path? And I pulled with my Magical Times Oracle, and we got union. And It says, you have seen and unseen allies draw upon their strength, join forces with friends, and flourish. And so, just what I got just right away is you're not meant to do this path alone. You know, that there are people that are, they are your people, your tribe, I think we've talked about that a whole lot lately, about finding your people. And so making sure that you have the right people around you, because like the 5 people that you spend the most time with is going to shape your personality. And like also something I learned a long time ago, and my words are not doing well today. So, is like, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room because you have nothing to learn there. So like, you know, you might need to change the rooms that you're in. And I think that that's the message that I'm getting the most out of that is, how can we connect to our own special path, is making sure that the people around us are actually aligned with the path that you're meant to be on. And if they're not, you need to change your rooms. All right, so now I'm moving to Angie.
So Jen, I was like going like, oh my gosh, look what she just said, that card. So the union of joining forces with friends, the notes that I showed you guys this morning, and I got that song, Why Can't We Be Friends? I've never gotten that song before. And when I looked up the information on it, I was saying there's connection back to that Apollo mission with the Frank Sinatra songs that have come through before, because they were played on both the missions circling and landing. And then apparently this song was played as Apollo and Sputnik came together in 1975. They played it in both, they channeled it to both of the spacecrafts, and they called it a handshake in space of why can't we be friends? How can we try to get along better? These two opposing energies of the world, right? And it's a detente, and it's relaxation via communication. We're learning how to use our words. We're learning how to protect our energy. We're seeing the truth in those things. And then you're saying pursue passions. That's a perfect message there as far as our creative energy. And Dawn got that 40. So I'm saying all of this because the writer one energy as well. There is a bridge there on Elizabeth's card, and that bridging the energy, those two aircrafts came together to shake hands. Okay, so that's really, really interesting to me as far as two forces coming home to each other. And these two cards came out for our question: how can we connect to our own special path? And the first one was a 47, which matches with Jen's 11. And then the second one is 31, home, which matches with that 4. And then all these water references there, that great wave awaits. This is my favorite card of this whole entire deck. Very Piscean energy, the yin and the yang coming into balance, singing our own, using those vibrational frequencies of our feelings and getting in our creative flow to help us through those tougher energies. It's just gorgeous. So how can we connect to our special path? This card here, 47, stepping through, is all about the path less traveled. So if you know that poem, even, this is about doing something different than we've done before. There's healing here. She's stepping out of the lotus. It's like we've been on this long healing journey, and now it's time to use the information that we have garnered to connect to our own special path. And that special path within us, all these bubbles floating, is our home. That's where we are home first. So all of this Mars retrograde and Cancer, we are our own bodies, are our very first home. Okay, so first we have to connect there, but we have to step out of this healing. Okay, we don't have to stay there forever. We're not, I don't feel like I'll ever feel truly 100% healed. But when you can have those ahas along the way, that is healing. And it's ready to step out and go, okay, that last paddle of this lesson, those last 5 degrees of these where these planets are in, we're finishing these lessons, and now it's time to step out of the lesson and use the information. We see hummingbird's been coming up quite a bit. There's butterflies of transformation, and right in the center is a Merkaba. That is our soul's chariot. So if you have that energy there, when you can meditate, and it's like sitting your body on top of this, and then a whole other pyramid prism coming in to surround you on top of that. That's a Merkaba. Okay. When you're sitting inside, that is how our head aligns with our heart for the soul to drive our chariot forward. So connecting to our own special path means that we've got to let go of whatever the hurt part of it was and focus on, this was for me so that I can evolve and become better. And now that I'm stepping out of that, I can help other people. And because I've learned what my true home is, and I put boundaries up and stood up for that. That's an amazing thing. That is so hard to do. It is so hard to do that, you guys. And if you are in that energy now, congratulations, because it takes people years, lifetimes even, and some never get there all the way because they're too afraid. So understand that your bravery is only going to carry you even farther forward here this lifetime. So I'm so happy to see that. It's just gorgeous energy. So I love all the connections, but I'm going to pass it back over for individual lessons. Again, thank you for putting your hearts in the comments and your numbers next to them, so that if we roll for you, we can get to getting and get your special advice from Spirit. Thanks, guys. Sorry, Miss Elizabeth, that would be you next.
I know, I couldn't unmute myself. That's such a pretty, you guys are awesome. Okay, so hi Judy. I pulled a card for you and it's so interesting. So give me an extra minute, you guys. Okay. It is sky riding. And my camera isn't like Dawn's. Dawn, I can see your cards in 3D. I hope you guys can see this. I want you to see the runes on this card. This is the fates. It's called sky riding. That which we cannot change, non-judgment. And it's about really opening up yourself to the power of curiosity, which is a great time to do this. Try something new, all that creative energy we talked about, and really learning your lessons from the past. But again, we can't instantly heal. It is a journey, but it's really using the wisdom from that. And right now, Judy, if you are facing a critical moment in time with an opportunity to meet your fate, a choice point where you expand your influence and your capacity for abundance, love, and purposeful action. Now is the moment to leap into it, whether it be a heart connection, a call to creativity, or a new identity in your work or another area of life. With all your heart and soul, your success is surely written in the stars. So I just love this card for you. And in order to bring your destiny to fruition, you must jump into the adventure with both feet and do your part. Now, this is really cool too, and it'll only take me a second. On this card is the rune of Degas, the rune of daytime, and this is the power of beginnings and endings. It relates to change. It's an air energy. And in astrology, it relates to the half moon. It's time for changes. Focus on the positive, like the card said. Meditation is helpful during this time of transformation. Also on that card, rune of the chariot, power of the journey, change again, evolution, journey, perspective, good news. Good news, Judy. Movement, wisdom, and tarot, temperance. So it's time for the spiritual journey, physical, but be careful of getting stuck in one place. Okay. So let's keep going. And I'm almost done, you guys. This is Iwaz, the rune of the horse, power of the journey again. Girl, it is your time. In astrology, this is Gemini. So you may have some Antero lovers. So you may have decisions to make, or maybe new love. We all want to know. And if you're traveling, it's a good time for that. And think about trust in your relationships and with yourself. Hold on. I'm going as fast as I can. God bless you guys. This is Anzu. I hope I'm saying that right. Rune of the breath of God. This is about protection, more messages, your vision, the wisdom we talked about, truth, stability, guidance. This is about Mercury and the magician energy. And it does say be careful of making a rash decision, seek knowledge. And maybe it's a good time to get trusted advice. And lastly, God, these are beautiful. I love that they put them on the card. Rune of humankind, Manaz. And this is the power of self and community. Absolutely everything we've been talking about. This stands for connection, teamwork, skill, relationships, intelligence, ability, community. It relates to Aquarius. And in Tarot, the star. You're so welcome, Judy. And it says it's a time for deep spiritual thinking as we understand our place in the universe and our connection to the divine. We also understand ourselves. God, I love that. I hope you guys enjoyed that card. That was a lot in one card. And I do hope it resonates. Now I go back to Dawn. What do you got?
Hello. So, yeah, well, the runes were speaking very loudly today. I just want to let everybody know I do have to leave early. I have an astrology chart reading that I'm doing. So if I disappear from the screen before we end, I don't want you to think that there's something wrong. I just wanted to give you a heads up that was going to be the case. But I am reading for Rebecca Jo. And when this card came out, I got chills. And I feel like it's not just a personal message for you, but it's for a lot of people out there that have been going through so much. And this card is Broken Open. Beautiful card. Beautiful card. Number 28. So it's a 10. It's the endings and beginnings. There are situations in life when you see the value of loss, grief, and a broken heart. Yet it's not the pain or loss itself that must be the focus of your attention here. No, not even the story of what happened, the details surrounding what has brought you to your knees. What is important are what results come from that experience. Can you see that this situation has broken you wide open, enabling you to have an even greater capacity for love, compassion, empathy, and understanding? I feel that a lot of us are going through this. And Rebecca Jo, I think this is going to be something that's going to be opening up your gifts. You take the lesson. You take the lesson that this experience has given you and move forward with that. I really do like the phrase when someone says a memory minus the emotion is wisdom. And to me, that is very, very true. I mean, you know, people have gone through divorces. People have gone through difficult situations with their family, especially now, Mars retrograde and Cancer. Personal childhood triggers that have come up and realizing that there's some situations that you just cannot resolve, but that you can move forward. So I think that this is a perfect opportunity for people to realize that maybe what has hurt you has broken you open to allow you to heal finally and to receive some of the gifts that are just waiting to come out. And I believe we're going to get a lot of that before we get to the end of March. So much love and joy to Rebecca Jo. And I will pass this on to Jen.
I do think that card was perfect for everybody right now. So All right, so I have pulled for Natisha. Let's see if I can find you. There we go. Okay, and so the card that I pulled from the Wisdom of the Oracle. It doesn't look so good, but the message is actually much more positive than what the card actually looks. So it's regeneration. And so there is a new beginning that needs to happen, because what was there has already been withered away. So like it needs either a new start or a whole new beginning with something else. So we have rebirth, second chances, new opportunities. Second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or a loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. And the rebirth actually could even be you at this time. Just coming back to what Dawn just said about the cracked open thing. So I mean, this could even be you. You could have gotten to the point that you felt just completely withered. And now then it's your time of kind of the rebirth, the renewal, the regeneration. You're pouring back into yourself, because the reason why it got to this place to begin with is because there wasn't enough love poured into this. There wasn't enough attention, nurturing, care poured into it. And so now we're putting that back in and we're bringing it back into life. All right. So I'm going to move forward now with Angie.
I smell a collaboration coming on here. My notes yesterday were resolution, acceptance, reward, reevaluation. And today was about roll the dice to redo, reset, right? So it's all that energy coming through, and that's incredible. So I rolled a 7, which Michelle K and Shrishti pulled. Hey, girls, hey. I cannot with this card. Oh my gosh. I know Sari has pulled this. I think this is probably the third time this card has flown out of the deck. It's a 20 card of Judgment, which was yesterday's energy, which is a special 2-path day yesterday of Judgment. And today being the special 21 day of connection, choices and their consequences. We've been seeing lots and lots of swords, ladies. So this is about, yes, there are 2 truths here, and we've got to be very careful in deciding moving forward. Play both of those out. And I think one of you guys pulled this recently too. Maybe it was Liz on your pick a card or your angel number, the drifter energy with that boat and all that water. Yeah, all this water energy, guys, mixed with the air. I drew today the trine of water energy and the trine of air energy. Here it is right here. Coming back again. So our advice for Feast of Plenty, I actually just made a special reading for just this card, and I haven't posted it yet, but I will post it today. This is about life's blessings. A great feast is laid out before you and requires you to choose. What will satisfy your hunger? Something new and unconventional, the path less traveled, okay, which is with its potential for bitter or savory qualities, or something you already know that you love. Okay, those are 2 truths here. You're faced with a plethora of options right now. And while that may seem to be an extraordinary thing, too many choices can throw us off balance. You might be worried that once you commit, you won't be able to turn back or refuse to confront the consequences of that decision. The most important thing to realize is that the feast is offering you experience. No amount of overanalyzing or strategizing will help you make the right choice now. Don't debate the right or wrongness. Instead, just choose. Just choose. In the choosing is the seed of experience, and that is what is necessary now. Sour, bitter, sweet, savory. What matters is relishing the experience until you digest all that your choice is offering you now. Only one warning: avoid the same choice if it keeps you hungry. If something didn't feel good or does not bring you what it seemingly promised, do not choose that again. The experience will only repeat itself, and you can see that in this. This looks like an exercise ball to me, that you sit on and do abs, or which I should be sitting on today, Rebecca. In my clumsily in a moment, I fell roller skating. Of course I did last night, right on me bum. So that is there here too. So the
You're not going to
experience
be able
will
to sit on that bouncy
only,
ball.
I do need to be bouncing on this. I am on a little bit of a donut today, but hey, it was worth the fun. But this experience will repeat itself, guys. Same plus same equals same. It keeps showing itself to us so that we can choose a different choice, right? The feast is yours to enjoy. You can always go back for more when you're hungry again, for life's blessings are ever available to you and calling your name. Okay. So yesterday, Cerie's message was about when somebody shows us who they are, believe them. And we talked at the top of the reading today, or top of the show today, about those experiences that are on repeat. We've all been through them. And it's hard. It's the hardest part of your life to make a different choice. This is not easy. But this card is coming out for a reason. And as Dawn was talking about Mercury energy, if you see this bumblebee here, there's that bee coming again from our Thursday Night Live. And there's a bee on this Mercury energy. Okay, community, communication. It's all about words, thoughts, analysis, information. When we know better, we do better, right? And it's kind of that. I think it was Dr. Phil who I said, rise above your raisin. So when we have these patterns of childhood that we don't know that we're repeating in our relationships, that is nothing to be ashamed over. That aha moment is magical. When you figure it out and you're like, oh my gosh, I've been doing that, there's nothing else like it. And even though if it stings, that truth is a double-edged sword, right? But it's power. Your own truth is so powerful. And once you get that aha moment and you're letting people be who they're going to be, and you're not trying to convince them of why they're wrong and why they're being so ridiculous, that's not our business to convince them that they're being ridiculous. That wastes our precious energy. Just observe. Let them do what they're going to do. We talked about that last time. Let them show you who they are. And if they are really going to bring in change and show you different behavior, we have to give them space to do that, because they're either going to show us or not. So if you guys are coming up to a big choice point here, this is encouragement to take the road less traveled, and the one that's going to cause less of a toothache. I see that as a tooth right here. It's going to cause less of a toothache. So I hope that helps you guys. We are at the
Well,
top
hold
of
on.
our
I'm
hour. That
going
went
to go.
so fast. I'll bring
I
it
know.
back over to Liz
I'm
to
going to
close.
pull for neon patriarchy, and then we'll close out. So if anybody didn't get a reading today, understand that we will be live Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, doing it all again. And do join us on our individual channels. Angie's live all the time. I'll be live tomorrow at 2 doing numerology. So come join. But neon, and for everybody, and Angie, so many tens and ones, 28. Okay. Neon, I saw that you missed the roll, so you got me. I hope it works. This is the hollow bone, and it is of an eagle, and it's a flute for the shamans. The appearance of the hollow bone invites you to become empty of your notions of who you are, to check your ego at the door, and to know that this is not about you. Relinquish your need to be right and to express your opinion, as this will not change anything right now. You're being called to practice humility. And honestly, this really backs up a lot of what Angie just said. And understand If you drop all notions and titles that bolster your ego, eliminate the doer, and allow all things to happen of their own accord. As she said, like, let them. Remember that you can accomplish most anything if you are willing to let someone else take the credit for it. And also, the hollow bone has come to caution you to believe only 50% of what other people think. It's none of your business and none of their business. And only 10% of what you think. Trust your experience. Let them show you, right? Not what you've read in sacred books or only holy texts. This will allow you to turn apparent danger into opportunity. And I would love everybody to think about that. And remember that you are an insignificant grain of sand in the grand scheme of life, and as important as the brightest sun. So I do hope that resonates with you and the astrology, even, and maybe where you are on your path of just sinking in again to what ignites your soul and what you need. And then everything else will flow. And I hope that's true for all of you. And, we're so grateful that you all are here. You guys bring so much wisdom to the chat and to us as well. I want you to know that we learned from you very much. And with that, we're going to say bye and thank you and see you all through the week, but Friday especially at 6. Peace.